So let's go back to Rhino and look at some of the other views that we need to work with. I'm going to select this one and go into my perspective view and just zoom in on it here and make sure that I'm in isometric view. Okay, so now that I have, I'm in the right view and I have all my line work or my model selected, I can do a make 2D. And again, you're going to want to make sure that you have a scene silhouette selected. I'm going to call this AXO and go OK. Now, if we go into our top view, we can see that we have our axonometric drawing, and I will pop that down underneath the plan here. Again, there's going to be some cleanup that has to be done, and I think that depending on the complexity of your model is going to dictate how much time you have to spend. But I think that there could be some shortcuts that we could use in Illustrator. So make sure that you have a valid scene silhouette. So if I look at that, it's not quite as perfect as we want it to be. We would really like the scene silhouette to go around all of the objects that are in this, this drawing. So it would be up to you to go through and complete the scene silhouette in Rhino. I'm just going to take a little chance now to go through and do that. And I'm just going to use the polyline tool to keep drawing around the edge and use that to get rid of some of the improper lines. Oops. If your scene silhouette isn't working for you, you can use polyline to trace around the entire outside edge of your object. And that way you'll ensure that you have a proper outline for your axonometric drawing. So I'm going to do that now. Actually, I have an idea. Let's see if we can hatch this object. I'm going to click inside all of the areas that we want to hatch and see if this helps us. There was intersecting loops, so I guess that is not the best way to do it. So let us export this. I'm going to call this AXO. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to just make sure Paste Remembers Layers is turned on so that it keeps all of the layers that we have here. I'll just check. We have visible curves, scene silhouette. This is more visible curves. I think that's because I was working on another layer, so that's why we have 3 layers. So select everything and just copy and paste it into our file. And I'll bring it down here. Okay, I'm going to select all of the visible curves and again set them to a light line weight, maybe 0.25, and that way we can really see our scene silhouette and we can see the work that needs to be done. But maybe what I'll do first is actually copy and paste in place and see if I can create a LivePaint object. So I'll go to Object, LivePaint, Make, and I'll put that on its own layer. Like that. So I'm going to turn off all of that other stuff and see if I can use the LivePaint bucket to fill in all of this line work. And I'm going to fill it with white fill and with no stroke. So let me go back here. Okay. And maybe I'll give that a color just so I can tell what I've already painted. All right, guys, there's probably some stuff I've missed here, but I think that is a pretty good interpretation of the overall outline. So what can we do with this LivePaint stuff? Now we have this LivePaint object. I'm just going to set the stroke to no fill so that it appears as if it's just one big block of element. And then I'm going to go up here and hit expand. So that expands everything within the object. And now with everything still selected, I'm just going to go up to the window and go to Pathfinder. And I'm going to use this unite command here to unite all of this into one solid object like that. So now we have a solid object where we can generate an outline that we can use. So basically I'm going to switch these so that now I have an outline and change it to black here. And I'm going to call this outline. And now if I turn on my visible curves, I have a scene outline for my axonometric object. So this is how you can use LivePaint and expand and the Pathfinder tool to actually generate the outline for your axonometric object. If you are having trouble doing that in Rhino, you don't have time to trace around the outline, we have a really complicated object. So now I guess at this stage, for Tuesday's pinup, do the best you can with your line work. So this is really, it really requires a lot of cleanup. So I would recommend taking time in Rhino to go through and trim all of the intersections where you need to. But using the LivePaint bucket is kind of a little bit of a shortcut to getting your scene silhouette for your axonometric drawing.